Okay, my dear Gabriel James Crespo, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Let me try to answer your little question, and don't mind the fact that this is gonna be on YouTube. It's just about if ever anybody else gives me a similar question, I'm just gonna send them directly to this link and tell them what specifically applies to their case if I know it. Now, you're asking me as somebody who's been playing this stuff for about, well, 13 years, pretty soon, what's the best thing I know about this would be to get better. What is the number one secret to get better? Well, the number one secret is not a secret, it's practice. But why I was telling you that when I looked at your video, that you sent me your videos. Yeah, you sent me two. Your videos that you sent me, and you're much better than I was after 2 years of playing myself. The reason was that for the first 10 years or 9 years I played guitar, I was just trying really hard to not suck. I wasn't trying to be as good as a guitarist as I can be. I was just trying really hard to not suck so that when I would play, people wouldn't say you suck. But I was a teenager, a kid and a teenager for most of this time. So I'm not really hard on myself for why I did that. I can understand. But the biggest change and why I'm telling you I got much, much better in the past year and a half, sort of, is that I have made the decision that I really want to be good at this. And well, it's a tough decision to make. It's a tough decision to wake up every morning and say, well, I'm no longer in the kids' orchard now. I am playing in the same category as fucking, I don't know, Guthrie Govan. And Guthrie Govan is a hard example. Guthrie Govan is like the Jesus Christ of guitar. And you're telling yourself, I told myself rather, I am no longer playing in the shitty average guitarist category. I'm playing in Guthrie Govan's category now. I want to be really good at this shit. And no matter how much practice I need to get there, no matter how much stuff I need to do to get there, I will eventually, given enough time. And the thing is, what I realized is not really about the amount of practice, it's about the quality of practice. But what do I mean by that? You see, there's this thing that I have against tab, because I learned tab for a long time. I learned from tab for a long time, and sometimes I catch myself wanting to learn from tab again. But I don't do it. I stop myself when I want to do that. The thing about tab is that tab is a very visual way to learn. It tells you numbers, and it's not even a simplified, codified visual way like standard musical notation would be. Tab is literally just numbers on lines. If you think about musical notation being like the English language, written down English language, tablature would be binary code, if that makes any sense to you. And I don't think you want to learn how to write English or speak English by looking at the binary code of English. If that makes any sense, the analogy is not perfect, but it's good enough for my purposes. The big reason why I'm against tablature is because it doesn't train your ear. It's very visual. Musical notation is a bit better because it trains your brain to think in terms of intervals and stuff like that, which is great. But on the other hand, it can also be a very visual tool to learning. And I feel the best, personally, in my opinion, and from the fact of all the interviews of really good players I watched. Here's a little message from you. And from the fact of all the good players' interviews I watched, all of them learned mostly sound. The most important thing when you're a musician is the sound you make. You don't recognize fucking I don't know, John Frusciante from Red Hot Chili Peppers by the notes he plays, because everybody can play these notes. And it's not even at the speed at which he plays these notes. He's like, yeah, no, I'm no virtuoso. Even he says that. And to be fair, I sort of disagree. He's a virtuoso in his own right. But it's not about the note he plays, it's not about the speed he plays the notes, it's more about when he plays the notes, what kind of sound does he take out of them? Does he just play a fucking, okay, I have capo on 3, so does he play a G minor chord like this? Or does he play a G minor chord like, he doesn't even play it like that. I can't play like John Frusciante because I'm not John Frusciante. But a G minor chord, for me personally, it sounds like. I could give you a small extract of one of my songs that's called Scars. And state of affairs, dead inside, dull outside, wasted chances, painful connections. Why do I keep going after what kills me, what cuts me? Maybe that's what I'm made for. Give me pain, I might not like it, but I'll make something out of it. A girl and a few dance bars. Bah. That was a bit of it. And to be fair, this is not how I want to play. This is not the final. This is not even my final form, if you watch Dragon Ball Z. But this is not even how I want to play properly. It's kind of there. I'm kind of getting my identity, my chords. It's not exactly there yet. It's sort of taking shape slowly, how I play each chord in which situations. And the only way to get somewhere with that is to listen to yourself playing. You have to hear what you're playing, and sometimes what I like to do in the mornings is I go blind. I close my eyes, and the only two things I play guitar with are my tactile feedback, which is to say the sense of touch, and my ears, and that's it. That's the only two important, really important things when playing guitar, in my opinion. You should develop your touch, your sense of touch. Am I fingering this note right? Am I hurting myself while I'm doing that? Am I putting my fingers in the best position for my specific anatomy and size of hand so that this chord sounds good, or this melodic line sounds good, or this legato lick? Or this legato lick that has no key, for it to sound the best it can? Am I doing what I can with my anatomy and the way I touch the instrument so that this does happen? I'm sort of getting lost in here. I mean, I'm kind of going around in a circular argument. Just train your fucking ears. That's the biggest thing I learned. Just train your fucking ears so that when you hear a fucking song on the radio, even if you can't like tell the actual absolute notes, okay, that's a G sharp. I can't do that. Just train yourself so when you hear like the simplest interval would be like a fucking major perfect fifth. The simplest interval to hear would be like a perfect fifth. It would be like ba 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 ba. It's like kind of the Superman holding ba 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 ba. That's a perfect fifth. At least when you hear a perfect fifth, you're like, I know this is a perfect fifth. That's the kind of thing I would encourage you to do, even though it's not necessarily right for you to learn the interval names by actual names, learn the intervals by actual names. It could also be right for you just to learn the intervals by sound. You know this, you know this sound, you know the sound of this shape, you know the sound of this shape, You know the sound of this shape. You know the sound of this. You know the sound of this. You know the sound of this. You basically start working from the ground up with what sounds you know of pairs of notes on the guitar, for example. And then whenever you hear that pair of notes being played either together or like in succession, or what are the other ways? It's either together or in succession. Yeah, that's about it. That's what I can think of off the top of my head right now. You begin to start knowing, okay, what this chord, what these two notes kind of look like on the guitar. Even if you don't know which placement they are at yet, you know where they are. You know what's the space between them in terms of guitar frets. And that would be much, much better for you than actually learning tablature. It would get you closer to being able to fluently speak the language of music. For example, you're learning words. You this, this, this. These are words. Little words, but words. For example, this too. This. Excuse me, I'm not warmed up at all. This would be a little phrase, a cool little thing you know how to say, like bazinga or woo, or I don't know, or like this could be another word. The thing is, the more words you learn and the more you can identify the words when you hear them, you increase your vocabulary. When you hear a word you don't know yet, go fucking find that out. Note by note, just go on a guitar. And if you hear, for example, for the first time in your life, you hear a minor sixth interval being used, like this is a minor sixth interval. When you hear that for the first fucking time, just go look for it. Like, don't be like, oh, I don't know what that is. Fuck that. Just go look for it. If you're interested by the sound of it, just be like, okay, I'm gonna try to see what this is. Find it note by note. Like, you try this. No, that's not it. 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 That sounds like it. Let me. This is it. Fuck, I found it. Major sixth. Minor sixth. I mean, you don't have to learn the names, but know the shapes on your guitar, know the sound it makes, know the very particular sound identity of it. Learn what word it is. You don't need to know how to write the word or what kind of word it is to learn a word. I am personally trying as hard as I can to learn the grammar behind the words, to learn the names, to learn how to write the actual words, to learn how to categorize different words in different contexts. But that's just me. That's something I'm doing because I'm really, really passionate about this. I'm not saying you're not passionate, but it might not be the best thing to do at this stage in your musical development, though it also might be. I'm not sure of that because I'm not giving you a lesson in person. But the big thing is just train your ears. Train your ears. When you hear something, when you hear something on the radio or like on the television, or fucking you hear a melody in your head, especially when you hear melodies in your head, just ask yourself, could I play that? And don't just ask yourself, pick up your instrument and try to play it. Note by note if fucking necessary. Find the notes through blood, sweat, and tears. Like, there's this little thing from this little lead line melody from Alice Cooper's Poison. I think it was. Yeah, it was that. This was, I think, the first melody I did learn by ear about a year ago. And oh my god, I felt so proud. I was like, I heard Alice Cooper's voice, and I was like, yeah, let me try transcribing that by ear. And after that, I never went back to actually looking for tabs to anything. Let me show you the one piece I'm really proud of that I transcribed by ear. It's a song by John Mayer. It's called Solo Dancing in a Burning Room. It's like. It's not a silly little moment. It's not a storm before the cold. This is the. Anyway, you get what I mean. Why I'm really proud I transcribed this is because John Mayer does not play it like this. The thing is, when I transcribed it on my own, without looking for tabs, without trying to see what was the correct way that John Mayer played it, made me become creative. It made me try to play the song as I would hear it in my head, try to play the guitar as I hear it, and it infused much more of my personality into the way I play this song, which is why it's one of my favorite covers to play live for people, because it really is me. Even people who know the song tell me I play this completely differently from John Mayer. Because I transcribed it by ear, it's tainted by my personality, but tainted in the best sense of the word. I hope this hasn't come across as like me trying to lecture you. Do not use tablature. Do not blah blah blah. Do not try to learn by ear. But no, but seriously do it. But seriously do it. Just train your ears. Be aware that the more you can hear yourself play, and the more you can spot what's keeping you in your playing from sounding the way you want to sound like, the more you're gonna get closer to what you want to sound like. But then again, you have to train your ears to know what you want to sound like, because this is important. You have to know what you want. There's the hard question when you play something or you hear something that you have to ask yourself, and it is, do I like this? I think Adam Neely talks about this in his online bass lessons, which I love and recommend and would recommend you to watch, for example. But essentially, the thing is, you have to hear everything and be a slight bit critical, or rather, a slight bit self-introspective, in the sense of asking yourself the big hard question, do I like this, when you hear something? And the next bit, which is, if you do like it, how can you make your playing sound more like what you like and more like what you want to sound like? Anyway, I don't know, I might have repeated myself a lot in this video. I'm just filming this from the laptop camera and not really caring a lot about what I'm saying, in the sense that I know what I'm saying is not absolutely correct, but correct for me, and I'm going around in circles right now, don't mind me. What I just wanted to say is fucking practice on your ears, feel the guitar when you touch it, know your guitar really well, warm up before you play, that should be a fucking given. Practice a lot, but don't practice for the sake of practicing, if that makes any sense. Practice because there's something you want to be able to do and you can't, and you have to practice for it. I think that's my time. I think that's enough. This is already 19 minutes long, and I don't really expect you to watch all 19 of it, but if you stuck through till the end, till here, here's a really cool chord shape. Anyway, talk to you next time, man.